Now back to G.I. Joe.
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble.
Are those the new Joes, Destro?
Yes, Commander.
Who's on the watchtower?
That's the Jungle Trooper. Codename Rakundo.
And manning the howitzer?
That's the Flamethrower. Codename Blowtorch. And the Halo Jumper. Codename Ripcord.
Who's by the bivouac?
That's the Dog Handler. Codename Mutt. And his dog Junkyard.
They've not seen the last of Cobra.
Watchtower, Howitzer, Bivouac, and G.I. Joe figures each sold separately from Hasbro.
No prison can hold Cobra.
Is there a prison big enough, strong enough to hold the Cobra Commander? He's the enemy. He's escaping. He's the enemy of G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe, American hero. Mighty Cobra and Destro.
Our new team is ready, Commander.
No, Destro, not quite.
What does Cobra Commander mean? Find out in the further adventures of G.I. Joe from Marvel Comics.
Well, I see you're still feeling very patriotic. And so am I. Let's get down to business with another episode of G.I. Joe. This is Battle on the Rooftop of the World. Let's do it.
Only one chance!
We now return to a syndicated cartoon's interpretation of gravity and physics. And bullshit. Quadruple bullshit. Back at the coral reef, everyone's still shooting at each other, apparently. Earthquakes continue to rupture the sea floor, causing the water's temperature to rise at a dangerous rate.
If we don't get out of here soon, we'll be boiled like chickens in a stew pot.
I'll have mine with rice.
Now let's have that cover!
Roger!
As both factions release fart gas to create a cover for subterfuge, Zartan remains a treacherous dick from a safe distance.
Exactly as I had hoped. Cobra and G.I. Joe are intent on outwitting each other. They will never even notice us.
Freedom signals a bad omen, as Spirit is up Schitt's Creek with an unlikely ally. Mutual respect established, the brief civility comes to an end, and a very well-animated fight unfolds. Rocky 3!
There is too little air to waste it on pointless combat.
Agreed. Soon we will either use up what oxygen remains or the sea will rise and take our lives.
We must dwell on this.
Two honorable warriors sit and contemplate their impending death. Are we having fun, kids? One day, you're all gonna die. Meanwhile, Roadblock and Hondalu's lighthearted hobo excursion turns to complete shit.
Right now, I'd say we got other problems arising.
That's a sight mean enough to stampede a herd of Gila monsters.
Inside the Cobra Temple, Destro brings us up to speed on things we already know.
My ion correlator still lies somewhere on the island of no return. And I still retain 2 of the enemy for potential bargaining pieces.
Destro. Surely you mean we. Because unless we recover all 3 pieces of our Dominator and reassemble them before G.I. Joe, all of us will be finished!
How well you perceive the situation, my dear Cobra Commander. I was
After their typical dick measuring, Destro and Cobra Commander focus their efforts on the final component.
We must now marshal our forces to wage the ultimate battle on the roof of the world.
The water forces the air out. Somewhere near the surface, this air must escape. If we use the air held beneath this fragment, we may be able to breathe. Now!
With nothing left to lose, Spirit and Storm Shadow take a chance that they will be ejaculated to freedom.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
G.I. Joe Flamethrower. Codename, Blowtorch. File name, Hanrahan Timothy P. Primary military specialty, Infantry. Secondary military specialty, Small Arms Armorer. Birthplace, Tampa, Florida. Grade, E4. Blowtorch is thoroughly familiar with all military incendiary devices and flame protection equipment. To Blowtorch, the use of fire in warfare is a science that predates the bow and arrow. Qualified expert, MY Flamethrower, M16, M1911A1 Auto Pistol. Blowtorch can't sleep unless he's near a smoke detector. Cigarette smoke drives him bananas. He always sits near the exit in movie theaters, and refuses to live anywhere that he can't safely jump out the windows. This is not irrational to him. These are actions based on intimate knowledge. G.I. Joe Halo Jumper. Codename, Ripcord. File name, Weems, Wallace A. Primary military specialty, Airborne Infantry. Secondary military specialty, Demolitions. Birthplace, Columbus, Ohio. Grade, H4. Ripcord joined the Civil Air Patrol in high school, discovered skydiving, and joined the G.I. Joe team so he can jump from much higher altitudes. Qualified expert, M16, M1911A1 Auto Pistol. Carl Gustav 9mm Parabellum. Browning High Power. Ripcord jumps from heights unseen and unheard, and drops like a rock for thousands of feet. Then he opens his chute at the last possible moment to avoid visual and electronic detection. What he does once he hits the ground, you don't want to hear about. G.I. Joe Tracker. Codename, Spirit. File name, Iron Knife, Charlie. Primary military specialty, Infantry. Secondary military specialty, Social Services. Birthplace, Teos, New Mexico. Grade, E4. Spirit comes from a family so far below the poverty line, they never realized they were poor. He was a hunting guide through high school, served in Southeast Asia, then as a civilian, completed his education, returned to the service for reasons inexplicable to anyone but a Native American mystic warrior. Qualified expert, M16, M1911A1 Auto Pistol, Remington Sniper Rifle. Charlie is a shaman, a medicine man. He's not a healer or a priest or a witch doctor. There isn't any equivalent in our culture for what he is, unless we had shrinks that could actually help people.
Now, back to G.I. Joe.
Reaching a glorious climax, Spirit and Storm Shadow are free at last. Despite his allegiance, Storm Shadow displays his true honor.
You have saved my unworthy life. The Weather Dominator shall be yours.
We shall meet again.
There's the piece of the Dominator, and only one Joe to worry about. Cobra!
We've come just in time.
As Spirit continues to flee, Zartan's machinations become clear.
Yes, we intervene.
But we want the Joes to lose, don't we? I mean, we are on the other side, ain't we?
We are on our side first and foremost, and we stand to gain the most if Cobra and G.I. Joe each possess one fragment of the Weather Dominator.
Intervening, he allows Spirit to break away. Wild Bill magically knows where to find him. Cool.
Spirit! I thought we'd never see you again!
We must leave at once. Yo, Joe!
With the Joes having won the day, both factions are forced to depart to a safe distance.
Cobra!
Destro and Major Blood land and move out for the final component.
There, Major Blood. The laser core itself lies on the other side of this mountain of ice.
We shall recover the laser core before G.I. Joe knows we're here.
As Joes arrive to counter them, the race is on.
The sensor reading puts the last fragment miles inside the glacier, Snowjob. Any ideas for getting it out?
Sure, as soon as I get us in. That's why I brought my glacier sleds.
Cute, but how do you go tobogganing inside a glacier?
Through the sluiceways. Ancient tunnels formed by hot springs trapped within the glacier.
Let's go for it.
Hey, who's gonna ride with me?
Get a date some other time. This ain't the tunnel of love.
There's nothing suggestive about this. These two are all man. At least one of them, I think. With large areas of exposed skin, Zartan and his dreadnoughts make a treacherous frigid climb to get ahead of both factions.
Blimey, Zartan! Why couldn't we just come in by chopper? Me ruddy nose is froze!
Zartan and his dreadnoughts.
In her favorite steampunk cosplay, the Baroness arrives with a squadron of Cobra Rattlers.
Any moment now, we shall reach the icy plateau which leads to the laser core. Stand by! Cobra!
Nothing phallic here. Just recycling shots.
The secret crevice at last. Ahead lies our shortcut to the crater and victory.
With the prize not too far away now, we are reminded of Zartan's aversion to sunlight. Also, how do they have bikes up there if they had to climb? Did they fly the bikes up there? And if so, why the hell would they climb?
We are now in a race, not only against Cobra and G.I. Joe, but against the danger of avalanche.
Thematic symbolism established, and they're off.
No!
Pulling out of the deep shaft, the Joes make their final approach towards the laser core. So do these assholes, with far less subtlety.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Cobra Anti-Armor Specialist. Codename, Scrap Iron. File name, Classified. Primary military specialty, Tank Destroyer. Birthplace, Classified. It is believed that Scrap Iron is the product designer for Destro's armaments company. Carries out initial field testing on all new armor-piercing munitions and sub-munitions. Area of specialization, remote-launched, laser-guided, rocket-propelled, and electric-fused anti-tank weapons. These weapons are categorized beyond the smart stage and are known by the nomenclature. Brilliant. Scrap Iron is methodical and precise. Imperfection in any form repels him. Perhaps that's why he wants to blow up the world. Cobra Ninja. Codename, Storm Shadow. File name, Classified. Primary military specialty, Assassin. Secondary military specialty, Intelligence. Birthplace, Classified. Storm Shadow can trace his family history through 30 generations of assassins. He can scale sheer walls with bare hands and feet, move with blinding speed, and endure unspeakable hardships and pain. Qualified expert, long bow, samurai sword, throwing stars, nunchaku sticks, 8th degree black belt in 5 martial arts. The great ninja assassin clans disappeared 100 years ago. If they were wiped out, nobody took the credit for it, and if they were still around, who would they be working for? Although Storm Shadow is seen in the cartoon as being pitted against none other than Spirit, In Marvel Comics, his lore ties him back to the origins of none other than G.I. Joe Snake Eyes, a fraught mythological tale of betrayal, misunderstanding, tragedy, and ultimately, redemption. The two honorable warriors learn the truth of their shared past and reconcile their differences. Together, they team up to form the G.I. Joe Ninja Force.
Now, back to G.I. Joe.
Trample, G.I. Joe, you fools! Crush them!
Back at the Cobra Temple, the commander pulls a full-on Kylo Ren shit fit.
I ask myself the same question, fool.
How did you get here? Go!
Once he's alone, things take a wacky turn.
That's easy for you to say, sucker. Now shut up.
Get the intruders!
Splitting time, little buddy.
Take them from behind!
So, they beat up the black guy, but left the cute white chick alone. I should stop there. Repeating past stakes and story beats, 4 of our captured heroes are reunited in the arena of sport.
Man, it's good to see you, and you're okay.
Don't count on it staying that way for long, Roadblock.
Then, endgame it shall be.
Forced to battle against cutting-edge video game graphics of 1984, our heroes are completely boned.
The laser car! Cobra!
2 violent factions race across the ice to reach the prize. They use their guns to play hockey. Lame-ass sensors. Still rocking her dumbest look ever, Baroness moves in. Her reckless attack puts Spirit in danger, more so than enemy gunfire, ironically.
We are even now.
When next we meet
as enemies.
Dad, you're not like the Decepticons.
Then you will fight against your own father. When next we meet, we are enemies.
Again, if they had bikes, why didn't... oh, screw it. Zartan and his crew swoop in and make their final move.
The crucial final fragment of the Weather Dominator, the laser core itself, is now entirely in my possession. A prize which I offer to the highest bidder. G.I. Joe, Cobra, the world belongs to one of you. The one with the greatest bank account. Just in case you have any further heroics in mind, let me leave you with this. You shall soon see what develops.
Risking that neither party will be able to pay his ransom, Zartan sets off the next cliffhanger.
Let's get out of here on the double! Yo, Joe!
Flint! Look out! The wall in the crater!
I'm sure they're all gonna be fine.
Well, another episode down. Nothing to do but just keep drinking for America. Now, check back here tomorrow. There'll be another episode ready to go. I hope you're ready, because if you're one of those Vine people, this episode's for you. So please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.
In our next episode, both G.I. Joe and Cobra track down Zartan in the amusement park of terror. Storm Shadow infiltrates G.I. Joe headquarters and Cobra and G.I. Joe clash in the ultimate battle, all in the next and final episode of G.I. Joe, The Revenge of Cobra.
Now stop sputtering like a wet toaster and get busy!